Today everything is about the bling for your big day, for your wedding. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. As announced in my previous video about wedding dresses, I will be addressing accessories, and today this video is solely dedicated to the bling. Your big day, the occasion to glam yourself up as never before, obviously. It's a very good solution to go for simple elegance in the dress and to put all the glam in the accessories, in this case in the jewels. Obviously, how much jewelry or how big your jewelry, how prominent your jewelry will be depends on a lot of things. It first of all depends on the kind of wedding that you intend to celebrate. If you go very formal, very elegant, there's of course more room for bling. If it's very relaxed and easygoing, of course that would not be so appropriate. But there are other factors. Even if you go elegant and you have probably already an idea about the dress that you will be wearing, or you have maybe even already chosen it, and if not, then maybe think in advance about the jewelry if this is an important subject for you, then you have to see what this dress permits you to do. For example, think about the neckline. If you have a neckline that is like, for example, in my dress today, obviously you can wear a big and more dominating necklace. And the reason why I haven't been doing that tonight is because I just wanted to demonstrate at the beginning the earrings that I'm wearing are quite dominant, and I decided to do so as long as my hair is down. Now, if you do an updo and if you think you will be wearing your hair up or you have short hair, those earrings might be a bit too dominating when wearing your head up, if you see what I mean. You do not want to be distracting with the jewelry that you're wearing from your personality, from your beauty, your happiness on that day. It should complement you, it should really enhance your beauty and make you look really special, but I mean, it would not be a good idea that the bling distracts too much from you. So this is also those factors that will lead to a certain selection of pieces. But maybe let's start at the beginning. What are the options that we have if we say, okay, we go for the full thing? Then obviously we would have the opportunity on the wedding to wear a headpiece. Now, headpieces, we probably, because of royal weddings, we think about tiaras. Now, tiaras, if you're a member of aristocracy or you're marrying into aristocracy, this is obviously an option, but I know that many brides dream to be a princess or like a princess on that day, and they might have this fixed idea to wear a tiara. Just make sure that if you go for that it doesn't look inappropriate and that people don't get the feeling that you want to pretend to be something that you're not. Can be quite sensitive. Maybe then don't go too big, or a tiara made out of flowers is also an option. Or you maybe follow my advice and say, okay, look, headpieces that are maybe not a tiara but probably also as beautiful. And I myself, because I wanted to wear something in my head, I had two ideas that why I was inspired by it. First of all, because of my hometown Vienna and Austria, I always had this portrait of Empress Elizabeth, Empress Sissi, in my head, which I pop up. As you can see, she wears, I think it was a wedding gift of her husband, Franz Josef, who gave her those, I think there were 12 diamond stars that she's wearing on this portrait from Winterhalter. It's very famous. And so I thought about something like that. So there was another inspiration that I had, and that was Princess Charlene from Monaco. Now look at this beautiful brooch that she was wearing on her chignon, her low chignon. And this brooch was a gift that was said to have been given to Princess Caroline, her sister-in-law, by Karl Lagerfeld, and it is a en tremblant brooch that you can shape differently. And it's made out of platinum and diamonds. Now, I found out that these kind of brooches are called en tremblant, and this research to find out what's the real name of this jewel is helped me find a kind of very similar piece. So this is what an en tremblant brooch is. As you can see, it's moving. It has this joint in the back which permits it to move. And I found those pieces when researching en tremblant brooches on, I think I bought this one on Etsy or on Ruby Lane. I will put down below in the description box the links to those two marketplaces, and I will also point out the different designers of such beautiful pieces. I will film those pieces all later on a fixed background so that you can see them, all of them together, all in detail. And I had two brooches, as you can see on this picture from my wedding. So I had my hair up and I was wearing several of the brooches, and I had also a pair of earrings, and I think I will have to look at the picture, but I think there are one or two earrings, and I put them up as if they were belonging together like the brooch. And so now it's obviously not exactly the same than Charlene's. Well, that is impossible and for me not affordable, but I think I found a very, very nice solution. And what was important to me was that the pieces don't look fake. So how does it come that they don't look fake? Now, if we now look at the pieces put down here on this background, and I go close on with the camera, you can see that this workmanship of these historical costume jewelry pieces is made as if it was real jewelry. So you can see that the stones are set in a fine way because the pieces are not new, but in the case of these brooches and earrings made or designed by Mitchel Maer for Dior. They are also from the 1940s around. If you look close up, you can see that some tiny stones at some point are missing, but this is something that you will not be seeing when you're moving your head, and nobody will look that close up. And also because they are historical pieces, the rhinestones are not too shiny. And what I would also recommend is that when you go for such pieces, that you do not go for too big stones. The smaller the stones, the less fake they look, and also they are not as white as new pieces. So maybe you can see what I mean by comparing these two. Have a look at the center of these two brooches. So this is the one with the bigger stone in the middle, and this is the one with smaller stones. And as you can see, it's a bit yellowish in the middle. That's because they're historical pieces, but they look in any case better than the jewels or the fake jewels and very often cheap China-made jewels that you find in the bridal stores. Another very fine piece that I found, I really got into it, is this very big brooch. I think it looks like a lilac flower with the leaf, and it's by Philippe Trifari. So Trifari and Trifari Crown are really, is a very, very beautiful designer. Also, have a look at this fine demi-parure with the pink stones by Bogoff. It's a demi-parure, that means it's only two pieces, only earrings and necklace. There is no bracelet nor ring. A full parure would be necklace, earring, ring and bracelet. This beautiful hyacinth brooch, that is really a very exceptional piece. It's by the brand Coro, and it's very exceptional. As you can see, the stones on the top of the brooch are quite big, so that there I'm contradicting myself, but because of this very special design, you can wear it and it will attract the eye of people, and people will have doubts anyhow, because it's so special. The design is so special. Should you say, I would rather go for the newer things. So those earrings that I have here, they are the newer things. I bought them on a bidding website here. It's a Dutch company, but they also have a German website. It's Katawiki. I will put it also down below. And then there are beautiful, beautiful pieces. This is a very nice pendant earring by a sub-brand of Swarovski. I forgot the name, but it doesn't matter because they have closed doors. So those pieces you will have to go to Swarovski directly to find these nowadays. And there is another brand which I would recommend you. That's the brand APM Monaco. So it's made in Monaco. And as you can see, I have a very, very beautiful ring on one side here. And I have a very beautiful necklace and those really beautiful star earrings, asymmetrical, so one is different than the other. and they're very, very elegant. And as you can see, the earrings are quite small. They are the matching ones for this very exceptional necklace. So as promised, I show you now the demi-parure with the hair up, so that's a completely different look. And I also wanted to point out whether you go for the old historical costume jewelry or the new ones. It's obviously a question of taste or preference, but I also would like to point out that most of the modern jewelry is made in China and not in your local businesses, nor in America, nor in the UK, nor in Europe. So after this pandemic that we went through, I think we all know how important it is to support the local businesses and also local dealers, collectors, who are also offering that in all our countries where we live. America has really, the USA has fantastic collections, also the UK, and in Europe I found that there are a lot of them selling in Italy. So then we don't have the custom fees and the VAT to pay. So please bear that in mind when you go and browse online, that you always look from where is the seller, because if you order it from the US when you live in Europe, then obviously you will have to pay the VAT and an additional custom fee, and the customs fee is about 4%, also the 19% VAT in Germany, for example. Now I also want to point out that if you go by collector pieces, so-called also book pieces, then it's good to go by books and to see the special pieces of the different designers that I mentioned before. I will also put down those books, because then once they are mentioned in those collectors books, then you can always, when you sell it, refer to those books and you get probably better prices, because sometimes the vendors, the sellers, they don't even know that they are collector pieces or single pieces. Also, I want to point out, in case you don't know it, Swarovski is celebrating their 125th anniversary this year, and they have brought out a book. This is the green version. It exists in a pink version and in the blue version as well. And obviously, as I'm interested in those subjects, I have bought it, this book, because there you also see which pieces are really the iconic pieces. And that will probably also in years to come be the ones that one should have. So bear in mind that also those brands that are doing quality costume jewelry, those pieces are worth really their money, and in a few years to come they will be really collector pieces as well, and you will be able to sell them. I will now lift the secret how you go about with your engagement ring and your wedding band. So it's really important. Wear your engagement ring on your wedding day, but put it on the other hand. Normally, I mean, it depends on the cultures where you are wearing your ring. I know that in the UK you wear it on your left hand, the side of your heart. So during the time of your engagement you will have been wearing your ring there, but the day of your wedding you put your engagement ring on the right hand. Then when you exchange the rings, your future husband will put the wedding band on your finger, and then once you have signed the papers, you then switch and stack from the other hand the ring in front of the wedding band. That's how it's done. I will pop up a small video of Princess Eugenie and her husband, who was completely confused why she was wearing her engagement ring on the wrong finger before they were exchanging their vows. And that was very funny because he wasn't aware of that. But that is something that you might not think of, and it would be a bit a hassle if you then would have to change it. So think about that before you enter the church, or in the morning when you put everything on, all the rest of your jewelry. Think about switching the ring to the right finger. Well, I hope there were some discoveries here for you. I will put up a few other brands of jewelry that I have not mentioned today, but that I have been wearing in other videos. If I don't mention a brand, it's maybe because it's a no-name. For example, my tennis bracelet that I'm wearing here, it looks real, but it's not. It's also an historical piece from the 1920s, and the good thing about the old costume jewelries, that back then there were still people who had been working in the real thing, and they have just, you know, adapted the real workmanship to the fake stones. So I hope this was interesting to you. Let me know if you liked what I'm sharing. So the next video is about veils, what options you have, if you want a veil, how long it should be, or what options you have, what materials there are, and I will be presenting you a supplier to some royal courts that is not known. but that you can order from. So bear with me. See you next time. Bye.